Hi, seventh graders. I hope you guys are all doing well. I miss you lots. I miss reading with you and talking with you about our books, but I hope you're listening and I hope you're enjoying them. I am so happy with the amount of kiddos that have reached out asking to record themselves doing a read aloud. I am more than happy to help you find books. So if that's you and you're interested, please shoot me an email because I'd love to get this set up for you. Today we are reading Carmela, Full of Wishes. This is by Matt De La Pena. He's a wonderful author. So especially as you know, I'm really hoping you guys are doing your 20 minutes of independent reading. He'd be a great author to look into because he really is. He's really lovely. He's a great author, writes some really awesome stories. Chapter books, like novels, and as well as other picture books as well. So we will get started here. So this is Carmela, Full of Wishes. As always, be thinking about what's that message. Carmela scootered along the uneven dirt path, watching men stop to work with their hands, her birthday bracelets jingling and jangling. The thick greenhouse air smelled of marigolds and overturned earth, and fresh manure. Carmela knew exactly what manure was, but she didn't want to think about that. Not today. Today she awoke to candles in her pancakes, and her mom sang Happy Birthday to You and told her, Go on, mija, make a wish. But Carmela's wish had already come true. She was finally old enough to go with her big brother. Carmela followed as he cut back onto the street at Freedom Boulevard, past the crowded bus stop and fenced off repair shop, past the old folks' home where two hunched old women waved smiles, past the huge improvement store where her dad used to stand around weekend mornings, waiting for work. Carmela tried to make small talk with her brother as their metal cart rattled, but her brother didn't make small talk back. He didn't want her tagging along. Too bad, she told him with her glare. Just outside the laundromat, she picked up a lone dandelion growing along the concrete weeds. She pulled a breath and leaned toward the fuzzy white bulb, but just before she could blow, her brother butted in. Did you even make a wish? You're supposed to make a wish. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that, sorry. Of course I made a wish, she told him. But it was a lie. Carmela didn't know. Carmela helped her brother sort colors one-handed, helped him load the washers one at a time. While their clothes spun, her imagination turned. Each new thought ushered in by a jingle of bracelets. Her brother found the sound annoying and shot her a dirty look. Too bad, she told him with her glare. She jingled her bracelets as she rode up to Miss Maria's vegetable stand. Imagine a machine built into her bed. She jingled her bracelets as she rode up to Miss Maria's vegetable stand, imagining a machine built into her bedroom wall, one that would spit out anything she could think of, but mostly candies. She jingled her bracelets in line at the locksmith shop, imagining her mom sleeping in one of those fancy hotel beds she spent all day making for fancy guests. She jingled her bracelets at the bodega down the block from their old apartment building, imagining her dad getting his papers fixed so he could finally be home. She jingled her bracelets outside the pharmacy, eyeing the shiny new bikes in the window. Her brother stopped in his tracks. Why do you have to be so annoying? She thrummed her bracelets at him and said, It's a free country. The only time she didn't reach for her bracelets was when her brother ducked into his friend's house. Carmela slumped down on the curb, silently imagining all the things she could turn him into. A slimy pink tail of a rat, a cockroach scurrying away from the light, a wheelbarrow full of manure left in the sun. She stared down at her dandelion in her hand. It seemed so much more important now that she knew it was a place to put her wishes. What if she made the wrong choice? Carmela tried to hop a curb on the long trip home, but her tire caught and her handlebars twisted, and she went crashing to the concrete. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry! But then she saw her dandelion crushed beside the drain. She looked up at her big brother, warm tears rolling down her cheeks. He lifted up her scooter. You okay? She shook her head and pointed. My wish. He took her by the arm and led her back up the block, past the laundromat and the flea market, past the greenhouses and the smell of manure, past the overgrown park and across the train tracks. He didn't stop until they made it to an abandoned farmhouse near a cliff overlooking the sea. Close your eyes, he said. Carmela closed them. Now make your wish, he said. Carmela listened to the ocean's hum in the distance. She listened to the squawking birds. She listened to the wind whistling past her ears. Then she opened her eyes. She saw hundreds of tiny white spores lifting into the air, floating out toward the far-off surf. The sky was full of wishes. Let's go, her brother said. Don't you want to know my wish? She asked. He shook his head. If you tell me, it won't come true. She looked back one last time, then took off her bracelets and followed her brother home. And that is the end. So I want you just to reflect on two things. In the last line, it says she took off her bracelets. Why might she have done that? I want you to be thinking why she took those bracelets off. I know me personally, I think she probably took them off because she felt like she didn't need the wishes anymore. She felt like she made her wish with the dandelions and she was happy with her choice. But I would love to hear what you guys think. You can shoot me an email or chat on Google Hangout or leave a comment in Classroom. I would love to know why you think she took her bracelets off. I'm going to push us back here just a minute. I want you to think about this page right here. It says she jingled her bracelets at the bodega down the block from their old apartment building, imagining her dad getting his papers fixed so he could finally be home. So I'm wondering if you guys understand what it means to get your papers fixed, right? Her dad, it sounds like, and I mean, I know as much as you, I read the same story as you, but it sounds like her dad probably isn't living with them. So what does it mean to get his papers fixed? What's going on in her life that maybe is causing some stress in this situation? So if you have ideas about two of those, I would love to hear them. You can chat me on Google Hangout, like I said. You can post on Classroom, but I would love to hear your ideas about those two things. But that is the end of our book. That was Carmela Full of Wishes by Matt De La Pena.